4 a.m. in the woods. Just woke up, rolled out of bed, and cracked open our Bible. Why? Because first fruits, people. I may have lost track on how many days we have been doing this study, but I have not lost track of where we are in the Bible, and God has not lost track on us and given us wisdom every single morning. And if you're new, wondering what my crazy bobble-headed self is talking about, this is a chapter by chapter study where I wake up at 4 a.m. without an alarm because God just doesn't take no for an answer. We are in 2 Samuel. Now, before I lose your attention, let's get started on where we're at. Last chapter, 2 Samuel 1, David finds out about Saul's death and Saul's 3 sons, including his best friend Jonathan. We really see David's true character when he mourns his technically enemy and his death, and he also mourns his best friend, and he writes the Song of Lamentation, the sad song, remembering Saul and his sons that have died. Now let's see what happens next. 2 Samuel 2. Sometime later, David inquired of the Lord, "Should I go to one of the towns of Judah?" The Lord answered him, "Go." Then David asked, "Where should I go?" "To Hebron," the Lord replied. Really good to see David continuing to seek the Lord for guidance right now. So David went there with his 3 wives. In addition, David brought men who were with him, each one with his family, and they settled in towns near Hebron. Then the men of Judah came. They anointed David king over the house of Judah. They told David it was the men of Jabesh Gilead who buried Saul. David is not king of Israel yet. Here, he is anointed to be king of Judah. A step, another place to get experience, another stepping stone to where God is leading him. And 2 chapters ago, if you remember how Saul died, we also heard about how his enemies displayed his body pieces around their false god temple, their false idols temples. They take their spoils of war traditionally, and they took Saul's body parts and the other men's body parts and put it on the wall. And these brave men of Jabesh Gilead went bravely and got the body parts so they could give them a proper burial. In response to hearing this, David sent messengers to the men of Jabesh Gilead and said to them, "The Lord bless you, because you have shown this kindness to Saul, your Lord, when you buried him. Now may the Lord show kindness and faithfulness to you, and I will also show the same goodness to you, because you have done this deed. Therefore, be strong and valiant. Though Saul, your Lord, is dead, the house of Judah has anointed me king over them." So David sends a good job message and basically blesses him in the message and says, "Don't worry, I got you. We got this." Now, you're probably wondering, well, who's leading Israel right now? Well, there is another son still alive, one of Saul's sons. His name was Ishbosheth. Abner, the current commander of Saul's army, took Saul's son Ishbosheth and moved him to Mahanaim. He made him king for all Israel. Saul's son Ishbosheth was 40 years old when he became king over Israel, and he reigned for 2 years. Basically, there's a civil war brewing here. You have Abner, the commander of Saul's army, and then now we are introduced to Joab, a commander in David's army. These 2 factions are starting to march on each other. 2 groups took up positions on opposite sides of the pole. Then Abner says to Joab, "Let's have the young men get up and compete in front of us." Here we have a little sneak peek of human ambition and pride coming in. Also, when we get bored, sometimes we can get into some things that we really shouldn't be getting into. They got up and were counted off, 12 for Benjamin and Ishbosheth, son of Saul, and 12 from David's soldiers. Then each man grabbed his opponent by the head and thrusted his sword into the opponent's side, so they all died together. This place, which is in Gibeon, is named Field of Blades. So basically they started this little battle at Gibeon with a competition. They go to war together. The battle that day was extremely fierce, and Abner and the men of Israel were defeated by David's soldiers. Must the sword devour forever? Don't you realize this will only end in bitterness? How long before you tell the troops to stop pursuing their brothers? As God lives, Joab replied, "If you had not spoken up, the troops wouldn't have stopped pursuing their brothers until morning." Then Joab blew the ram's horn, and all the troops stopped. They no longer pursued Israel or continued to fight. So the battle at Gibeon ended in a truce. Technically, it is still a win for David because Abner lost more men than David's troops did. Now we're seeing a lot of movement going on, and we're seeing a preparation for civil war. David is not king of Israel yet. David is still seeking divine guidance. Praise the Lord. And we are seeing the importance of relying on God's wisdom in leadership. We're learning a lot of good leadership qualities about David. I mean, anyone in corporate, ministry leadership, you could learn a lot from David. From his good triumphs and from his transgressions. We see God's hand still at work, with David ascending to the throne of Israel and Saul slowly descending from his reign of Israel. We see elements of human ambition with Abner already, and I'm sure that that's going to be a theme that continues. It's politics, it's reigning in power. God is so good. We give him glory for giving us all of this stuff, this information for us in our lives. Chapter 3 tomorrow. I will see you at the next 4 a.m.